It's the 2019 NAB Show. Sports Video Group is in Las Vegas for you again. Brandon Costa with SVG joining with you today. I have the distinct pleasure now to be joined by Mr. Gordon Tubbs from Fujinon. Gordon, it's always a pleasure to see you at these shows everywhere. How you doing?
Good, I'm doing great. Thank you for having us.
Good. First off, I mean, lenses are always some of the cool, fun things we get to check out at a show like this. It's some of the cool toys that we get to play around with. 4K, HDR, UHD, all kinds of letters and numbers that are going to be thrown around a lot at this show. Fujinon obviously very involved in those departments. How, in what ways, and why?
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting NAB for a couple of reasons. One you touched on was HDR. We are introducing a number of new 4K lenses, but 4K is not what people want to talk about right now. Okay. It's HDR, whether it's HD HDR or 4K HDR. And we're going to be doing something very interesting in our booth. We'll talk about in a second, but we will have 3 new lenses, a whopping 125 times new box lens, which is 4K HDR. We also will have 2 less expensive zoom lens portable lenses, which is a trend now. We're getting the cost down. So we have a 23 to 1 and an 18 to 1 that we're going to introduce, and really the biggest thing there is lower cost. Okay. So I think that those are really quite important.
Okay. You teased a little bit about some other things you have going on in the booth. A little bit more on the cinematic side you were telling us about. Although, to be honest, some of those things are starting to creep into live production a little bit. But as far as what you guys are doing here, what's big on the cinematic side of things?
Thank you. Yeah, that's also a major part of our business, and you're absolutely right about it creeping in. There's a lot of applications in news and sports. But we are also introducing for the first time large format zoom lenses for the cine world. People like Arri and Sony and Red have introduced a number of very large format sensor cameras, so we are now bringing zoom lenses into that world, and up till now there's been very few of them. So we actually had a big event in Los Angeles just prior to the NAB. We're going to do a second event here at the NAB and have them in our booth. So it's really quite cool. We call them permistas.
I mean, a big company like you guys probably have a lot of messaging going on, but what would you say is maybe, especially for the sports audience, a big theme or a key takeaway you're hoping to kind of translate across this week at this show?
Thank you. Yeah, there is one very specific one, and it's HDR. Okay. And in our case, we're actually going to be exhibiting 2 cameras that will be able to show the difference between HD SDR and HD HDR by using a 4K lens because they're designed better HDR performance. You'll be able to actually physically see that with your eyes.
All right. Well, we can't wait to come by and see everything at your booth. You guys certainly should too. Gordon, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. All right, for more coverage of everything we have going on here and all of our great sponsors have here at the NAB Show, visit us online at sportsvideo.org.